Hello and welcome to another episode. This is part 2 of my Kia EV3 review. Before I start, I'd just like to thank Acorn Kia Burntwood for the use of their GT Line S and also the GT Line, which my wife borrowed for a short test drive, and I also test drove for the second time. The first time I had the GT Line S, I only had it for a couple of hours, so that's when I did the point of view test drive stuff, which is in part 1. A link to that's up there. In the second episode, it was a few days later and it had been snowing. I had to clear loads of snow off the car on the dealer forecourt to actually get at the car and fully defrost it. You can see there's snow all around the car. In this part 2, I go through most of the features of the car in the time that I've got, and I cover a quick walkthrough of the menus and lots of the buttons, the useful buttons, and some hidden features and some stuff you might not know about. I also answer the question, how many windows can you open remotely on the GT Line and the GT Line S? And you'll see the answer in this video, amongst other things. Anyway, enjoy. So I'll start this video with a quick walk around of the GT Line trim in Pistachio, which is what my wife drove, and I had a quick drive in, and that confirmed that it was quiet without the dealer's trade plates flapping in the back window, which was the issue in part 1. So you can see it's got the same plastics as a GT Line S and the same lights and the same tyres, and there's no visible difference from the outside, you can see. And I think it's got the same headlights as well, same shiny black plastics. The air trim, I think, has got like a metal bit instead of it being painted on the bottom. Now this is the Shale grey GT Line S, which I went back to for the second lot of filming. As you can see, there's snow on the ground. I'll do a quick walk around it again. And this is from my first day of filming, I think, just to complete the circle around the car. Then I asked the question, how many windows can you open on the GT Line S remotely with the key? I'd already opened them, and it's just 2 on the GT Line model. I think that's something to do with there being no auto reverse mechanism on the doors. It's only on the front ones, whereas the GT Line S has all 4, as you will see. And the GT Line S in Shale grey, you basically press and hold unlock to open the windows, and lock for a few seconds to lock or close all the windows. As you can see, GT Line S can do all 4 windows. And then your powered trunk or tailgate. Find the control, there we go. As others have said, you've got this gap between the seats, but you can't really see what's going on because it's in a blind spot. There's no window there, so they can't actually see in the car. And then you've got the split level boot and a bit more space under there, which might be enough space for a spare tyre. This is what's under the floor at its lowest level, so I reckon that is enough space for a spare tyre, definitely even a full-size one. I mean, it's got the shape of a spare size tyre, so I think a spare will fit in there. So with this on the top level setting, you've got all that room underneath, and then the sub level where that polystyrene was. So I reckon it's definitely made for a spare wheel. You see that goes down to a depth of 1230 millimeters, so 13 centimeters, and the width of the tyre well is about 700 millimeters. For those asking if a 17-inch full-size wheel will fit underneath, there it is. That's if you take the tray out. There's a bit of a gap, but not too much. Then you've got your frunk under the bonnet. Obviously the cables are a good place, and that's got a rubber seal around it, and that forms the top of the frunk. Then you've got your 12-volt battery access. Which don't want to come off. Right, that's the 12-volt battery cover and your other stuff for your brake fluids. That was hard to get off, a lot harder than any other cover I've ever taken off. The battery, I think, is the same as the replacement one in my EV6. So it's a 60 amp hour, still lead acid as far as I can tell. Right, remote park assist. Press the lock, then you've got to press and hold that button to turn the car on. Nope. Two buttons for two physically. There we go. And then forward. Turn it off. When I was driving this in the rain the other day, I noticed that there weren't any rubbers on this charge door, and as you can see, it's quite wet in there. So I don't know if it's supposed to have rubbers. There doesn't seem to be any signs of mounting them, but the rubber's around the outside of that, but they don't seem to keep the water out. And those are all the symbols for your indicator there of what's going on with it. This is with it set at my level for just around 6 foot. Plenty of space in the back. Couple of vents, a bit of storage there, and USBCs in both sides of the seats. You've also got this, but there isn't a hole to poke your skis through like on the EV6. The plastic is quite nice on these seats, and they're all perforated. Some people say the inside is cheap, but no, it's no cheaper than the EV6, to be fair. One good feature is there's now a hole to stop the seat belts rattling. Like that. Probably got that the wrong way around, but you get the idea. Good feature. Decent sized cup holder there, and a couple in there. And you've also got rear heated seat control on there and on the other side. Yeah, it's on both sides. And in the front, plenty of room. same headrest as an EV9. And that is soft plastic, whatever it is. It's not cheap and nasty like you get on some lower models. So I don't agree that this is a cheap interior. I think it's good. That is, the door stuff seems to deform more than that, but I don't think it's any worse than an EV6. And then you've got this cloth kind of recycled trim stuff, which ain't bad. No, it's good. And the steering wheel's got that offset logo, which I'm getting used to it now. And you've also got a manual adjustment lever there for the steering wheel. But, oh, it does go down and up. Yeah, like that. And then beyond the steering wheel, you've now got your drive shifter controls. So, back and forth, you've got a park button on the end, EV on off, and those are the indicators that light up. So if I put my foot brake on, then drive, neutral, reverse, park, and that's the sound of the parking brake, which sounds a bit like it's got a sore throat. Then you've got the range guide for how much range you've actually got left, and you've got the maximum and minimum range. And then you've got your iPedal sets to level 1, but that seems to alter itself when I've been driving it. Auto hold is on. That's controlled by the center console buttons. You've got a downhill assist button for braking. Those are parking sensors. And then your 3D camera and auto hold. All very similar to what's in an EV6. Right, I'm just going to go through the steering wheel controls. Smart cruise control button, menu button, scroll through the menu button. Smart cruise control up and down to go up and down the speeds. Press it to pause it or knock it off the line. And you can also go up or down to re-enter smart cruise or HDA mode. That's the smart cruise distance. If you press it repeatedly, it cycles through the distance. And that turns off auto steer and lane keep assist. If you press and hold it, it turns lots of things off. And then you've got the drive mode on there, and that scrolls through the menus on the screen. So if I press a menu there, press it again. If there's more than one option, like there, that takes you through all of the trip meters for current trip after charging since last reset, and there's a range guide current trip thing in there. And then to the right, and you've got the mode that normally switches between the infotainments, whatever you're playing, either radio or whatever. That's your voice activation. If you press and hold that for a few seconds, I think it's 5 seconds, it turns off the driving speed limit warnings and all the other nags. That flips between tracks if you're in Android Auto and you're playing music, and changes radio stations. That's a shortcut button. You press and hold that. I'll press and hold it now. That gives you a list of things you can put a shortcut on. So I could have that as an EV menu if I wanted to. So if I quickly press it again now, straight to the EV menu. And then you've got your phone up and down, which picks the phone up or puts it down. You've got the driver monitoring system, which is a Euro mandated thing. Even though we're in the UK, we still get that. If you're not looking at the road, it'll nag you. Not sure if you can mute that with the volume mute button, but it probably does. And then in utility mode, you've got a different screen, and it shows you how much you've got left in range. On the driver's door, you've got heated and chilled seats and the heated steering wheel. There are 2 levels of heated steering wheel on this, which is a step up from the EV6. And then you've got the driver's door controls. You put left or right when you want to do reverse and have the mirrors dip. If you don't want them to dip, you just leave it in the middle. And that turns off the rear door controls, makes them childproof, I believe. And then on the passenger door, you've got heated and chilled controls and a window control. On this model, you've got the wireless charging, and that you can also register your digital key by putting it on there. I think if your phone hasn't got ultra wideband, you can use that to do digital key and keep the car driving. Then you've got these very big cup holders, and then the ironing board where you can eat your sandwiches or run your laptop off. That is nothing, it's just empty. And then below there you've got a bit of storage. Volt, USBCs, one is for data and one switches between data and charging. And then down below here you've got your regen paddles, traction control on off, press and hold for the trunk, parking brake and your light levelling, and then below there is the bonnet release. Right, a quick walk through the controls. You've got your volume knob, and that also presses in to turn it on and off, like that. You've got your home, your map, your search, your media, and your programmable star shortcut button, and you've got the setup button that gets you into the settings. If you press and hold that, you can see what version of software is running, like that. You hear it beep until that comes up, and it's running 240727. Press home to get back. Now you've got dual temperature controls. You press it up for the temperature to go up, or down for it to go down, and you've also got the fan speed button there, up and down, and the mode button there to control the heating mode, and then the up and down. Then you've got the maps on the main infotainment screen. That will give you your search for chargers, and that's to set your home address, probably your work address. And then you've got your EV menu, which is always there on the first screen. I think you can press and hold these down to move them around, like that, just like on the EV9. So if I press the EV menu, we'll just walk through that. The graphic of the car is an actual EV3, which is what you tend to get on the CCNC head units now. Then you've got these three menus here. That's your range, your energy usage, and that's your timer for charging. And you also seem to have electricity use settings. Minimum is still 20%, charging limits, and then more settings. Battery conditioning, state of charge is pretty low, that's what that's telling me. Utility mode, that's where you activate it, and you can dim the interior lights when it's on, just like there. Press it again to turn it off. Then smart regen, you've got level 1, level 2 and level 3. This was on level 2 when I test drove it. Plug and charge, no idea how to set that up yet. An iPedal, and there is no menu for vehicle to home or vehicle to X, which I've seen on the EV9s, but it must be a software update away on this. Anyway, back to the home. Anyway, if you press on any of the icons, you'll get the radio up or whatever, or the media. Press media. and that gives you a choice of media. So it could be Android Auto, Bluetooth, or a USB stick, I guess, if you've got one that fits USB-C, or you could use an adapter, I guess. And it's snow's melting outside. You can also press on the car to get to your charging limits and other stuff. I'm going to go straight to the setup menu. So you've got vehicle and you've got driver assistance functions and drive mode, braking modes, drive mode change alerts, defrost, climate stuff, seats, warmer ventilation based on climate settings, and seat position change alerts, much the same as you get in an EV6. Lights, you've got ambient lights settings and the brightness. And turn off link to drive mode to pick the colour. So made it purple. And the back button's down on the right. Doors, you've got approach unlock but no walkaway unlock. Now I've seen it on menus in other regions, but it doesn't seem to be on here. Enable, these are the same as an EV6. And power tailgates, that will automatically open and close when the key's in range. And the tailgate height, smart tailgate, that's the automatically open thing, so if that's turned on, you walk up to it, it'll open. And then remote window control using the car key, and it opens all four windows and closes all four windows on here, but it doesn't close the sunroof as well. It's just windows. I've tried it. And then digital key controls. There are plenty of Kia how-to videos on how to do this. And then convenience, rear occupant alert service interval, auto rear wipers and reverse. It's got a wiper. Yay! And that's all of that menu. And then drive mode. And you've got a My Drive mode where you can do a customized version of it. Climate. Tunnel mode. Climate touchscreen control restriction. The touch function will operate only on a part of the climate touchscreen. So I don't know what that does. That's to read the manual one, that is. And these are the very same options you get in an EV6. Seat easy access, lights, high beam assist. That needs to be enabled for your automatic high beam assist to work in the menus. The EV menu, I think we've already been around. You can also stroke down for quick access. I'm not going to go for every menu. Cluster head-up display has got turn-by-turn navigation you can turn on in the settings. So, and different types of cluster theme. That's for your driver's cluster. Head-up display, content selection. Turn by turn, if your Android Auto or Waze isn't showing turn by turn, that's where you turn it on. On the test drive I found that by searching the settings. And you can turn, there's a lot more information available than you get on EV6 on this. wake up words. You can say "Hey Kia" instead of pressing the button, I guess. I suppose that's useful. And this uses the online voice recognition. Minimize prompts. Then user profiles. These can be stored in the cloud, and they save all the settings, and it can be linked to your Kia Connect profile, and that's how you do all that. That's the second screen, general. That's the same as pressing and holding the setup button. That's the shortcut for that. I suppose that's what you got purchased in the Kia Connect store. This is where you change your Celsius to Fahrenheit and your miles to kilometers and your tyre unit pressure. You can stroke sideways, and you've got a phone thing, but I'm not configured, so I can't show that. And phone projection, which is the wireless Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Voice memos, car wash mode. And more settings? No, it's the same settings. And that's actually settings the same as pressing setup. Vehicle diagnostics. No, vehicle needs to be started. And valet mode. Kia CarPay. Yeah. Again, you'd probably use Kia Connect to set that up with your user profile and link it to it. And then you can pay for things like car parking at the moment, and probably more things in the future. Notifications. And then to the right, you've got your heating, ventilation, and climate control, the small screen, and you just press plus to expand it. And then you can do more. If I press mode, that's put it on level 1, and a bit more, and that's driver only at the moment. Oh, that's changing for all the vent modes. And to quickly turn it off without going in the menus, just turn the fan speed down to nothing. You've got separate physical keys, which you should always carry, just in case you get a 12-volt failure, because if you've got a digital key or this key, 12-volt goes, you have no way of getting in the car. So you should always carry that. And that just pops out of its holder. And then to get in with no 12-volt battery, just got to shove that in there. Right, sunroof controls. This is wide and panoramic, just like my EV6 is. So it's going to behave in the same way, I reckon. To tilt the sunroof, just press it up once, and that's tilted it. Press it again to untilt it. To open the sunroof, pull back like that. And to close. The sunshade's covered now. When it's shut, if you press it again part way through, it stops it. So like that. I've just noticed that the passenger seat also auto adjusts. Well, the driver's one does on my EV6, but this does both. That's just moved back and back again. So in conclusion, what did I think overall of my driving experience and all of the features? Well, as I said in the first part, it was enough to impress me that I ordered a Kia EV3 to replace my EV6. Inside, it feels like the EV6. It drives pretty much like the EV6, apart from sometimes being front wheel drive, you can put your foot down a little bit too much and the wheels will skid. It's hard to do that on a rear wheel drive car. But I mean, it's wider than the e-Niro or the Niro EV, so it feels more like you're driving an EV6. I think it's got the same steering wheel as the facelifted EV6. It's a step up in technology compared to the EV9 and even the facelifted EV6. The EV6 facelift I drove yesterday, I'm filming this conclusion a few weeks after I did the review. It's actually New Year's Eve. So I've seen what the facelifted EV6 has got or hasn't got in this case. It hasn't got the updated iPedal and the saving of the settings for iPedal. When you go into reverse, it loses the setting. It's got many of the other features, but it hasn't got the updated head-up display with the updated graphics. There's just lots of technology missing. It hasn't got the new compact HVAC, that's the heating and ventilation and climate control system, which is supposed to be more efficient and better. Slim HVAC was what I was trying to find the words for. I had it confirmed that the vehicle I was test driving was actually a car with no heat pump. The dealers' demo cars don't have heat pumps because they're just wasting money on it. So why would they have a heat pump? So the fact that I got 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour on my mixed motorway and A road journey is a very good sign, I think. Anyway, things that I could fault. The gap in the parcel shelf at the back, it's a little bit annoying. And the other thing I could fault is the lack of storage in the center console. Just having the what I call the ironing board or the slide out bit of console with nothing to store your stuff in to hide it is a real pain. I think the air trim's got its own little box underneath with a flip up lid. So I'd rather have the box than the gimmicky slidey thing, to be honest. So I think that's a bit of a wasted opportunity. There should be a box under there to store all your crap in, to hide it all. But besides the parcel shelf and the slidey out thing, I mean, those are the only things I can fault that I can think of. But it's got other improvements, like things to stop the seat belts rattling. I think those were in the Niro EV as well. As I say, the inside just feels like I'm driving an EV6. Of course, the outside will never look like I'm driving an EV6. But for all the reasons I've mentioned before, I've had to swap now. So my car will be here in a few weeks now, and I'm looking forward to getting to know it a bit more and do a few more videos. Anyway, hope you found this useful. Thank you for watching.